everyone, my name is Sam and thanks for checking out this video. So instead of doing a worst books of 2017 list, I thought I'd do something a little different. Firstly, because 2017 has been a depressing year, as well as it would essentially just be every book from my video books I DNF this year, along with Dividing Eden by Joelle Charbonneau. So instead, I thought I would do a 2017 reading accomplishments, trying to be optimistic and positive about everything, because A, the time of year, and 2, it's just sometimes we all need some positivity. Let's be real. If you ever watch the news or look at your bank account at this time of the year, sometimes you need a little positivity. So my first accomplishment of 2017 is I spent more money this year than I have ever before on books. Told you I was going to try and be positive about everything. And kind of in hand with that, I developed, battled, and beat a book outlet shopping addiction. On an actual serious note, I have caught up on the Illuminae files, so I have read Illuminae twice and Gemina once. I plan on reading Gemina one more time before Obsidio comes out in March, and I am so ready for that book to come out. I finally read Ready Player One by Ernest Clive this year, so I am ready for the movie. I'm never, ever, ever able to get to the book before seeing the film or TV adaptation. So I am like myself a massive high five for that one. Pretty impressively, I managed to read a magical realism book that I didn't totally hate called When the Moon Was Ours by Anne-Marie McLemore. That's like amazing for me. One big accomplishment for me, which again, like extra high fives for me, I bought actual bookshelves, not from Walmart. I want a round of applause for that one, so I'm going to pause for a minute. Thank you, IKEA, for Billy bookcases. One really cool thing that I got to do this year was I got my first ARC and read it before the book came out. My ARC is actually at my friend's house right now. I'm hoping I get it back soon, but I got the ARC thanks to a coworker of mine. I managed to get one through work. I got the ARC of Daughter of the Siren Queen and read it, and it doesn't come out now until February. And I realized the awesomeness of getting to read a book early, as well as the fact that you now have to just wait if you liked the book until the sequel comes out, which, I mean, this one doesn't have a sequel, but just the waiting for the actual finished copy to come out is killing me. I can imagine what it's like to get an ARC of a first book and then have to wait for a second one. I'm actually really proud of myself this year. I managed to read The Hate U Give and Dear Martin in 1 year without attacking someone out of anger. I'm not a big contemporary person, and I get angry very quickly when it comes to things about, like, social justice issues that are very basics. And I managed to read these. I am, like, blown away. Thanks to my book outlet shopping addiction, which, came in beneficial sometimes, I managed to discover Lindsay Fay this year and managed to accumulate basically every book that she has published. I've only managed to read Jane Steele so far, but I'm going to be reading her other ones very soon. I managed to purchase an unnecessary amount of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So now I literally own 10 copies of the first book of Harry Potter. I'm not even sorry about that. I'm not going to apologize for it. Once again, thanks to Book Outlet, I managed to accumulate the entire Outlander series in hardcover without going bankrupt, which is, like, impressive considering the books are normally like $50 a piece Canadian. Thanks to the Owl Crate Society group, I was finally convinced to read Sarah J. Maas, so I read the Throne of Glass series and caught up on it. And then I picked up A Court of Thorns and Roses and joined that fandom addiction, so thanks! In all reality, I'm totally caught up on Sarah J. Maas in 1 single year. I'm pretty impressed by myself because there's like 3 books in this series and like 7 including the novellas in this one, so. By the way, if we don't get a wall scene in A Court of Frost and Starlight, I am going to rage. I actually managed to, in all honesty, develop an absolute love of diverse books. I'm actually now at that point when I read a book when there's just like all white people with like all straight romances where there's no like, where no one has any sort of like, problem or disability or anything like that. I get immensely bored and I don't like those books anymore. And along that same line, I read a massive amount of books this year that have racially diverse casts, and I absolutely love that. It wasn't even out of like conscious effort, it's just books that I ended up like reading and loving. They're all books with like mixed race people or people in mixed race relationships and all that kind of stuff. And I love that that's happening in books now. I finally, at the age of 25, read a Percy Jackson. Actually, I think I was 24 when I read these. I don't know, my birthday's in May. Either way, 24 or 25, I finally managed to read the Percy Jackson series. I didn't love it the same way everyone else did, but I read it, and I'm so glad I finally did. I can finally, that's a massive, life check mark there. And kind of along something I just said there too, I am now comfortable stating that I disliked a book. Like, I know now how to, like, stand my ground and be like, no, just because you liked a book doesn't mean I have to like a book. We have that, like, especially on social media and online, there's a lot of, like, pressure of, like, what do you mean you didn't like this book? But then, you find communities like, the Life and Lit group or the Owl Crate Society where you meet other people and then you're like, I hated this book, and everyone else is like, oh, and then one person's like, oh my god, I hated it too, and you're like, oh, we're best friends now. Kind of going along the lines of battling my book outlet addiction, I managed to use the library an awful lot this year. Between e-audiobooks and actually picking up physical copies at the library, I managed to save a ton of money, as well as, like, avoid buying books that I was like, I'm never going to like these, as well as, like, making sure that I bought books that I was going to like. Something like The Dollmaker of Krakow. I borrowed it from the library and then immediately went to go buy a book. But I know that I spent my money wisely that way. I'm really happy that at the age of 25 now, I found a process and kind of a stance in which I want to take when dealing with books with controversy. And kind of along those lines, I found that I'm actually a good person when it comes to, like, debating books. Anytime I've dealt with people, coming saying, this book is wrong, your opinion on this book is wrong for this reason, I have been, like, immensely proud of myself of how I've dealt with them, of trying to communicate with them and actually have discussions about them. A lot of the times those people, don't want to have discussions about them. They just want to yell and you find out they haven't read the book. But I'm actually really proud of myself of coming to the opinion that I know that there are books with certain controversies that I know that I want to read them and form my own opinion on them. Because sometimes bloggers, they don't always, have the same interpretations of books. And I am a firm believer that you need to experience something before judging it. So I am really happy that I've kind of, at this point in my life, come to that decision. There's some authors that, now that I know certain things about them, I won't touch their works. But I think there are certain books that, especially in YA, have this whole, like, this book is racist or homophobic. And then you read it and you're like, no, it's not. So I'm really happy I finally have that, like, because that so many people battle with that, especially in YA, of should I buy this book or rent the book from the library, because that still goes back to the author financially. I managed to read every published book by Maura Fowley Doyle, Anne Blankman, and Renee Adier. And my last super duper 2017 accomplishment was I managed to start and finish 3 trilogies this year, which I'm, like, super impressed with myself for. So I read The Search for Wandla, the whole trilogy, as well as Snow Like Ashes by Sarah Rash, and finally, The Remnant Chronicles by Mary Pearson. Make sure to check the description box down below for all of my social media. If you follow me, I will follow you back.